Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be similar to the last few videos. We're going to be looking into the crash that happened in Germany, that Germanwings flight that the pilot crashed because he was depressed. He was suicidal, so today's video is going to have a little bit of a warning for suicidal topics, things like that. If you guys enjoy the video, please comment what you want to see next and let me know, and make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in just a sec. On March 24th, 2015, Germanwings Flight 9525 was preparing for a regularly scheduled flight from Barcelona in Spain to Dusseldorf in Germany, and it would fly over the French Alps as part of the route, obviously. The flight was operated on an Airbus A320, a world-renowned short to medium-haul jet with amazing safety record. Well, except that. Anyway, the plane is preferred by airlines around the world versus its competitor, the 737, especially with what's going on with the MAX right now. Back to the story. There were about 144 passengers on board and 6 crew members, including both pilots. The flight took off from Barcelona at 9 a.m. GMT, which is the UK's time, and started heading northeast towards Germany. The captain, Captain Patrick Sodenheimer, had 10 years and about 6,000 flight hours, with about 3,800 of those flight hours being on the A320 under his belt, flying with Germanwings, Condor, and parent company Lufthansa. His co-pilot, Andreas Lubitz, only had about 630 flying hours, with 540 of them being on an Airbus A320. About 30 minutes into the 2-hour flight, the flight made its final transmission to air traffic control, which was just asking permission to continue the flight on the planned route. This is a routine transmission, so nothing really seemed out of the ordinary at the moment, but just after this transmission, the flight recorder had the Captain Sodenheimer, telling Lubitz he needed to use the restroom and asking co-pilot Lubitz to take over radio communications and the cockpit door opening and closing. While Captain Sodenheimer was in the restroom, Lubitz locked the cockpit door and changed the selected altitude from 38,000 feet to just 100 feet. Over the next 5 or so minutes, controllers tried to get a hold of Germanwings Flight 9525, but never received any message back. The flight recorder also played multiple pounds on the cockpit door in the last minutes of the flight and muffled voices. Around 9:40 a.m., the flight slammed into the French Alps. Everyone on board died in the accident. Throughout the investigation of the incident, the crash was ruled to be a murder-suicide. An investigation was opened up into co-pilot Andreas Lubitz's backstory and found some upsetting news. The investigation into Lubitz found he had been seeing his general practitioner who recommended Lubitz see a psychiatrist. Lubitz was also diagnosed with severe depression and, quote, possible psychosis. The doctors, because sources vary as saying there was one or many, kept this information confidential between him and them, and Lubitz, never informing his job or the authorities, had no reason to be, taken off of the flight crew. His doctors had a fairly safe assumption that Lubitz would likely tell the authorities and or his job so he could get proper time off to recover and feel better, but he never did. An investigator stated, quote, no action could have been taken by the authorities or his job to prevent him from flying, end quote. This is likely because nobody besides him and his doctors knew about his mental health problems. Investigations also found that Lubitz had previously been treated for depression and consulted as many as 12 doctors before the flight, where he ended up killing 150 people. Because Lubitz was a trained professional and was already scheduled to fly the plane that day, he didn't take the cockpit by force. All he did was wait for Captain Sodenheimer to leave and then lock the door. After 9/11, there have been a lot of new safety measures in cockpits, so only professionals and flight attendants, like professional pilots and flight attendants, can reach the cockpit. In this particular case, there were only 2 people, so when Lubitz was all alone, it was already game over. Since the crash in 2015, new mandates have been put in place to ensure public safety. Pilots and doctors now have to alert airlines and authorities when a pilot's mental health could become a threat to public safety. Let's say Captain, Joe Schmo has deep mental health problems that could lead to suicide, then his doctors have to report that to the airline and authorities to prevent him from flying. Another measure taken is at least 2 people are required to be present in the cockpit during a flight at all times. In the case of Flight 9525, only 2 people were flying the plane, and like I mentioned, Lubitz was all alone in the cockpit when he crashed the plane. If there's a second person in the cockpit, this is prevented since someone will be there to stop a possible crash. With this new step, 3 people must be scheduled to fly the plane on every single commercial flight worldwide. Alright guys, I hope I haven't scared you into never flying again, because flying is a great experience. At least I find for a lot of people it is. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next, and make sure you share the video too. I'll see you guys in the next video.